ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 58 of the Dynasty podcast. I'm here, Panache and Yashanu, alongside Jed Mitchell, the Terminator. Just a dynamic duo today. Eddie Mac, Ethan McDonald is not here, but Dunk Dynasty podcast still here to represent, still here to give you the updates on what is happening in the NBA. Lots to discuss after week 2. Today's episode going over the Milwaukee Bucks and their 1-6 start to the NBA season. We're also going to be talking about Victor Wembanyama going through a sophomore slump, possibly. We'll give our thoughts on that. Injuries also piling up for the Orlando Magic and the New Orleans Pelicans. Yeah, buddy, are the Warriors the real deal? And then also giving credit to Vince Carter, VC, the jersey going up in the rafters in Toronto. And who else is next in Toronto with the jersey retired? But Jed Mitchell, how are things, my brother? How's life doing? How's life treating you? You know, getting closer to Christmas. We're enjoying life. NBA, lots of basketball, man.
Yeah, life is good, eh? And as you said, like just the two of us today, best two-man game, or best two men in the game. There's no better lineup than P in the two-man. No, I did not just say that. I will never repeat that again. But yeah, I've just been watching so much basketball, loving a lot of it. Some of it's been painful to watch, and some of it's just been outright disheartening. Like the Bucks. I've been a Bucks supporter, well, not like a fan, but like a Bucks follower for a wee while now, and it's just it's tugs at the heartstrings every time they lose a game. They've had some close ones though, so it's not all bad. But
yeah,
God, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But I'm fuming already. I'm fuming. I'm not feeling good about it. How's that? How's the Tron been treating you?
It's good, man. It's good. I mean, listen, it's nothing like Christchurch, nothing like those bigger town cities, but it's doing the job. Which is, I think, we're going to talk about some of these teams here who aren't getting it done. Some of the players who aren't getting it done. Bro. I'm living life. I can't wait to talk about this, bro, because there's some teams in here like the Bucks who we said at the end of the last episode, we said the Bucks got off lightly. We said that we would get to them, and they've actually got worse since we got since that point in time. But listen, before we get into it, hey, if you are listening to the podcast for the very first time, or if you're a regular listener, make sure to leave us a rating or review wherever you're listening, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, YouTube Music, wherever it is. Make sure that you leave us a rating or review and share the podcast with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Make sure that the Dunk Dynasty podcast continues to grow. The army continues to grow. And make sure you actually go to social media. We just hit our goal because of you guys. We just hit our goal. We wanted to get to 500 followers. We're now at 600. So a crazy jump in the last week. Thank you so much to everyone who likes the videos, shares the videos. We really appreciate it. And next goal now is 1,000 on TikTok, and then 1,000 on Instagram, which we're getting close to now, and also 1,000 on YouTube. So you guys keep doing the job for us, and we'll keep doing the job for you, producing and giving you guys this unreal NBA content. With that being said,
One thing before you move on there. I was just saying one thing before you move on there. Keep the comments pumping on the videos as well. Some cheeky back and forth going on. A few disagreements out there, but yeah, love to see the community out there engaged, and keep it going.
It's all love, guys. We love the back and forth. Hey, we don't take it personal. We don't take it personal, so don't worry. We'll bring the heat. We'll bring the heat back. So that's good. But like we said it. This team got off lightly last time because we said we'd save them for the next episode. And since that point in time, the Bucks have gone 0-3, are now 1-6 to start the season. The worst start since Giannis joined the team in 2014? This is crazy, bro. We had Doc Rivers, we had Darvin Ham, we had our worries about this team. And now the Warriors, are coming to earth, coming to fruition, or whatever it is. 1-6. Jed, what's your thoughts, man? What's gone wrong for the Milwaukee Bucks to start the season, man?
In an era that started off being defined by super teams, we thought, you could put two elite level talents together and it would just magically work. This team here is proving that theory wrong. And to spearhead that theory being wrong, we've got two of the most inept, incapable, incompetent, and just outright confusing coaches leading this team to what has been a pretty poor start. In their defense, 3 losses since we last talked, but 2 of them were absolute thrilling games against the Cavaliers. a Cavaliers team that has come a long way, and a Cavaliers team that is pretty well coached and is kind of pushing their team forward with the use of Evan Mobley as a ball initiator. Like that's kind of crazy. That's a luxury this team doesn't have. They don't have a forward-thinking coach. They've got a coach who's caught up on his past ways and bring in the intelligence or the experience of Darvin Ham has not proved to be productive. But yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo is out there doing his thing. That's one thing that's pretty scary about this team. You've got a player averaging 31, 12, and 6, and you're losing games and you're 1-6. It's not like it's not incomparable to like the Pistons who have like Cade Cunningham who's playing great, but he's not averaging 31, 12, and 6 and 1-6. It's unfathomable that this team is where they are right now. And yeah, outright concerning. I think you need to really pop off here though, because you've got a lot of built up anguish that you need to unleash on this team.
I feel for a long time I said that the Bucks were making a mistake when they traded Drew Holiday because I thought that you lost to the Miami Heat in that first round series. Giannis barely played. I thought it was such an overreaction because I said there's only one person who I'd replace here, and it's Bud, because I thought that Bud had just, the course, he'd run his course as a coach. So I said, listen, they're probably going to fire Bud. They fired Bud. And then all of a sudden, they say, Giannis, Giannis comes out and says, we need to make a big move. We need to make a big move. But the thing is, you made the big move sacrificing defense. Because now you've got Damian Lillard. As great of a scorer as Damian Lillard is, I'm not taking anything away from him offensively. Defensively, he is terrible. He is awful. It is so bad to watch. And that's the sacrifice that you made. Because even in that deal, for the Drew Holiday deal, one other key piece that everyone always forgets about is Grayson Allen. Because that backcourt, Grayson Allen, Drew Holiday, they were great defensively. Offensively, I thought they complemented Giannis well. And again, you lost the Miami series. I don't care about Jimmy Butler going crazy. If Giannis played, Miami was not winning that series. I stand on that still to this day. And now you compare that backcourt of Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen to now, who is it, Damian Lillard and Gary Trent Jr. It is like, listen, Gary Trent Jr. was brought there to be a three-point sniper, and he's shooting 23% from the field. Oh, sorry, from three-point range. So bro, there's just been mistake after mistake in terms of this team. And I feel, there's probably one person to blame. I'm sorry. I think you've got to say Giannis, because at the end of the day, that's the guy. All the moves have to go through him, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I think your front office has still got a job to do to operate and to navigate those challenges of stuff having to go through Giannis. Like, it makes me reflect on the Adrian Griffin firing. What was the record at the time? 30 and 13.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what they've gone since then.
It would 18 and 25. 18 and 25 since 18, then.
So that there is concerning itself. And the Drew Holiday thing is even more interesting the more you dig into it. Remember before they had Drew Holiday, they were struggling with their point guard identity, their point guard play, with Eric Bledsoe as the kind of the ball stopper, the guy who would come and go in different flows, who didn't really fit the style of what they were trying to do. Yet when they found their guy, they moved away from him. Yeah, I don't expect Giannis to be on this team in 2 seasons' time. I don't think they'll move him this offseason. I think they'll do it 1 year too late rather than 1 year too early. But with the way the roster is, it is so constricted at the moment. There's no fathomable way that they will get to a point where they can compete for a championship without stripping this thing right back to the bare buds.
100%. Because you look at as well, like Brook Lopez, 35. Dame will be 35 next offseason. At the start of next season, he'll be 35. And this season already, unless Chris Middleton comes back and works miracles, there's no other way that this team can get anywhere near a championship this season. And considering Giannis has already sort of said, he started putting pressure on them to say, I want to start winning I want to get to another championship. I want to win another championship. It gets worrying when this team is that old already. And the most worrying stat for me, I looked at this today. So out of 99 guards who have started a game for all 30 teams, there's been 99 guards who've started a game this season. In defensive rating, Damian Lillard and Gary Trent Jr. Damian Lillard is 77th in defensive rating out of 99. Gary Trent Jr. is 92nd. Those are the two guys who are supposedly supposed to, stop these guards. Because in the NBA, we know now the guards are elite, bro. And these guys have given up 25 points, 25 plus points to a guard at least once. At least one every game. At least one guard drops 25 plus points every game this season against the Bucks. It's crazy to see. Bro, I feel so bad for this team, man, because I feel you made too many rash moves. You lost to the Heat and you overreacted so much and said, well, we lost because Drew Holiday, yeah, he's not really much of a defensive stopper anymore. He let Jimmy Butler drop 57 points on his head in the game, was it game 5, whatever it was. He's not a defensive stopper. He's washed. Let's trade him. And now look at him. He just won a championship with the Celtics. He was an defensive guard, I think second team that he was on, and he's still a good contributor. Is he still Drew Holiday like 20 points that he was on the Bucks? No, but that's probably more so because of the situation that he's in now. If he was on the Bucks, could he be doing that? Yes. I much rather would have kept Drew Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis together one more season and run it back with Giannis being healthy, and done that rather than say, let's go get 35 or 34-year-old Dame Lillard, who's a great offensive punch. Like, he gives you great offense, but defensively, never known to be that guy. And he's showing now he's not that guy. And you can see it now. They just struggle, man.
Yeah, I think I would rather this team to move on from Brook Lopez too early than move on from Drew Holiday. Like, they've just put themselves in a real bind. The one thing I will say as well, if you take Giannis off this team, they are the worst team in the NBA by a long margin.
Or would you say worst? Would you say worst?
Worst team in the NBA by a long margin.
Oh, I wouldn't say worst. I'd say they're definitely bottom 10 team if Giannis is not on there. Purely because I think Dame would still be able to carry you to some games.
Yeah, but so Dame would be able to carry you to some games, yet Dame can't carry you to some games with Giannis on the court as well. Like, that's where and it's not like the Blazers had good years, but they had a lot of bad years as well.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Like, they went to conference finals, then they were like playing or missed the thing. But I feel there was some years in there where there was injuries to both Dame and CJ, or one or the other was out. I feel this team here, they just presently constructed the Bucks. Oh man, they did well last game with no Giannis, lost by 2 to the Cavaliers, but still, they just don't look like a team that, for the expectation, obviously, anytime you have a star like Giannis on your team, the expectation is you're going to get close to a championship. You're always going to be a contender. And for that sort of player, who Giannis, let's be honest, would probably be all NBA first team again this year. He's looking like they might be a play-in team or even miss the playoffs as a whole. Maybe the East, you're probably going to make it because the East is weak. We know that. But they're not touching a championship. No way. Are they beating the Cavs?
Yeah.
No. We've seen that they're already 0-2. They're not beating the Celtics. They're not beating the Knicks. I can probably confidently say they're not beating the 76ers now either.
Yeah, but like you look at their roster, I'm just looking at it. Outside of Giannis, Lillard, Portis, Lopez, and Gary Trent, which is 5 players, I think the majority of their roster would not make an NBA rotation on the majority of teams in the NBA.
I agree.
And that's not that doesn't feel like a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, because look at the guy that is Taurean Prince. The guy literally just follows Darvin Ham and gets a role wherever Darvin Ham is, it feels like. Because he was on the Lakers getting minutes, now he's on the Bucks getting minutes. Both times Darvin Ham, either assistant coach or head coach. Listen, Taurean Prince, good player, but is he a player that you want to be getting big minutes on a team that's contending? Probably not.
Agreed. Just to finish this topic off, what team will Giannis be playing for? And we'll go next year, 2025.
You saw it a couple of episodes ago. I believe that Giannis Antetokounmpo will be an Oklahoma City Thunder player when the 2025 NBA season begins.
Interesting. I'm gutted the Knicks got Cat because Giannis in Madison Square Garden, 41 games of the year, would have been crazy. I'm going the Nets because for some reason they will think it's a smart move.
But as we move on, We'll move on to a player, second year in the NBA, the alien, as they call him. He's coming off a game where he had 9 blocks, but still, this season, he has not been sort of living up to the high expectations that everyone had set up for him. Victor Wembanyama. He is 19 and 10 right now, but the shooting, bro, 43% from the field, 22% from three. Expectation was high for Wemby. We were all calling him the alien after the Olympics. We're saying, man, Wemby's going to come back out. He's going to be averaging 26 and 13. I said 25 and 13. Nowhere near that right now. And he's looking, like he's not reaching that sort of thing that we thought he would reach in year two. What's your thoughts on Wemby, man? Sophomore slump, or do you think this is who Wemby is?
Oh, no, I don't think it's who Wimby is, and I don't even think it's a sophomore slump. I think it's a guy who doesn't know who he is. It's a guy who's going out every night trying to do different things, trying to play different ways. He's probably leaning too much into the shooting side of things, not being as aggressive when he gets matched up against a smaller defender, but he's just a guy who's trying to figure it out. And I think it's probably most perfectly summed up like the difference between him and Chet. And like the difference between him and Chet to start the year is Chet, I feel like he knows exactly who he is. He's a good defender, but he's also a guy who's going to take people off the dribble and try to get to the rim. He's not as dynamic as Wemby. He's never going to be as dynamic as Wemby. But it's a lot easier when you know what you want to do for the season, and what your points of emphasis are to work on for the season for what works for your team. And that's where Wemby's going to have a lot harder room to grow and develop, is because he doesn't know what kind of player Victor Wembanyama is yet.
100% agree, because I feel it's either is he going to be Giannis or is he going to be KD? That's sort of what everyone's sort of been throwing him into, one of those prototype. He's either going to be the Giannis prototype, where it's use my size, use my length to just get past you, bully ball you to the basket, or is he going to be that KD sort of finesse, the handle, the smooth, silky, 7-footer? And I feel I fully agree with you. He's in that little balance there where he's sort of trying to pick a side, and it just hasn't been found just yet. And teams take advantage of it. Like OKC, when OKC played him, OKC said, okay, cool, we're just going to put Caruso on you, or we'll put Lou Dort on you for some positions, because if you want to play like a guard, we'll put a guard on you. As soon as you put the ball on the floor, he was having trouble, because those are guys where they're close. Obviously, we know how high it works, bro. They're close to the ground, bro. You put that ball on the ground, they're tip, 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 pesky defenders. And it was a hard game for him. But then when he tries to play physical, teams, if they put it big on him, he struggles as well. So he's so stuck in that balance of, am I going to be that sort of silky guard who's all jumper, which I think right now he's leading into that way too much jump, way too many jump shots. I would like to see him get back to being in the mid post, face up, make a quick move, either get to the basket or, shoot over the defenders. Because, bro, no one's getting to that shot if he decides to shoot. Same thing. If he decides to make a quick decision, attack the basket, I don't think anyone can stop him. But I think because it's leading into that, I want to be KD, I want to be a guard so much, I feel like now he's just getting caught in that balance. And that's why he's being so inefficient, because it's almost like he's overthinking at points in time. If he can just get to a point where it's just be Wemby, like you were on the Olympic team for France, be Wemby. Just be, mix it up. Don't try lean into either sort of persona or prototype, and he'll get out of this,
Yeah,
if you want to call it a slump.
I agree with you, but then I almost don't in a way as well. Like, I don't think he has to go back to being Wemby, but I think he has to be conscious of what he's doing and what he's trying to achieve on a nightly basis. Like, if you're trying to if you're this year, you're like, okay, this is the skills I want to develop, and this is the way I want to go, and I'm going to live with the consequences. That's okay, but I wouldn't say let's just be Wemby and be really good for the sake of being good, because that might bring down your potential, like the heights that you can reach. Like when Giannis really leaned into who Giannis was, it was amazing, but he shut the door on ever being a really good off the dribble shooter. Like he shut that door. He shut that door. He closed it and he sealed it with every kind of sealant known to man.
Yeah.
I don't know if Wemby wants to do that completely just yet. So I agree with you, but I'm happy for Wemby to figure out who he is, as long as, and I think it being on the Spurs, that does help with a good coaching staff. They've been through it. They would have been through the same thing with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. Ginobili was an interesting one. Like you think about that whole Ginobili experience when he first came onto the Spurs, it was like this guy's trying to do way too much every night, and he had to be humbled. But it was all of that kind of feeds into it. And I think in a situation like the Spurs, it's going to be okay. The where you run the risk is when it's like the Thunder. Originally, I'm going to talk about them way too much, but like I sometimes think about imagine if Westbrook had been coached in a different way all those years ago, where it wasn't so chaotic and it wasn't so all over the show and it was more structured, like the Spurs. What kind of player he might have become, or what kind like whether he would have been a more efficient player. So yeah, I'm all for it. But yeah, you have to be cautious because it can be a slippery slope sometimes.
Yeah, you don't want to shut the door on either or. But still, for me, when I'm watching him, less jump shots. Even the guy like KD, we know KD's smooth, pure scorer, but still, he still gets to the basket. He still gets himself easy lays here and there to just mix it in, which is what I think I'd love for Wemby to do more. Get to the basket. Don't have to shoot the ball so much. I know
Yeah,
you want it, you're working on it, but we don't need it so much, man.
I think one thing he could do as well is find a signature interior shot that
Mm,
he can rely on and just drill that down for his whole career. Like you think about Dirk's fadeaway,
mm.
Kobe's fadeaway, Michael's fadeaway, like all these kind of like shots, like Kareem's hook. There has to be something that Wemby can unlock interior wise, where it's late game in the clutch. He can go to like even Jokic. You think about it, if it's the clutch and it's the fourth quarter and he gets inside, that's a bucket. It's a
Yeah.
bucket. I don't know if I feel that way, or I don't know if I feel those inklings yet with Wemby having that in his bag.
Mm. But it's weird as well. He's only 20 years old. So I feel the thing is, when you get compared to LeBron and everyone calls you the alien in year two, everyone expects you to take the jump that LeBron took in year two. Because LeBron, year two, what? He was 19 years old or 20 years old. So I think a year younger than Wemby. But LeBron, year two, jumped from 20 points per game to 25 points per game, becoming
Yeah,
an all-star. Whereas Wemby,
I,
are we
I,
seeing that for Wemby?
I,
Probably not.
nah, yeah, he'll be averaging 25 points per game by the end of the year, 100%. He started last year slow, and like you say, oh, he's averaging 19 and 10. He's averaging 19, 10, 4 blocks, 3 assists,
Yeah.
and 1.3 steals. Like he's also shooting 42% from the field.
That's
That's not going
that's
to
my
last.
concern. That's my concern. The shooting is the concern. I'm not good. As a whole, in terms of his contribution to the game, he's doing well because we know what he's doing. Sorry, defensively especially. But my concern is the shooting of the inefficiency on offense is my biggest concern.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He still had 2 games so far. Two of his, what, 5 games so far this year? Oh no, two of his last 5 games, I should say. 24 and 25 point game. I'm not concerned at all.
Mm. So we shall see. I mean, yeah. Listen, the expectation is high. We know when you get the label of being the alien, there's a lot of expectation. So right the ship. So you expect him to right the ship when we sit here a couple of weeks time. Let's say all star is. First of all, give me what you think he's averaging, and second of all, is he an all star?
Yeah, I reckon he'll be averaging 25 points a game, and he will be an all-star.
Wow, wow,
Okay,
interesting.
you've got to remember, there's a good chance he's going to be a starter because he's going to be leading the fan vote, and he'll be getting a lot of like coach and player votes as well. So
I I don't think so. I'm gonna say 23, 23 and
okay,
12. 20
but
by
who's taking Cat's spot as an all-star then?
I don't think it's gonna be Wemby. If I'm thinking off the top of my head here, Julius Randle would come to mind. Sabonis comes to mind. Sabonis comes to mind straight away. I feel like Sabonis was supposed to be one last year, and I feel like he started the season well enough this year to deserve it. Well, listen, we're not gonna say deserves it. We're only 4 or 5 games in, but I feel Sabonis can get in there and steal Cat's spot. Randall becomes, or obviously goes into consideration straight away. That's just the two
Yeah,
names that come to mind.
yeah. Randall's a guy who just misses out though. Like he's just a guy. That's if you had to define Randall's play style, he's a ball stopper and a guy who misses out. I think that's who Julius Randall is for me. I think Sabonis, yeah, there'll be an injury to at least one of these players,
Ugh.
and I think there's going to be a spot for Wemby regardless.
I'm
Um,
very interested to see. I'm gonna say no to Wemby being an all-star though. I'm gonna say Wemby will not be an all-star. Yeah.
7 games into the season, you're jumping off the ship.
Yeah.
What? Okay,
Checklist.
here we go. Just before we move on, then, what's more likely, Wemby All Star or Wemby Defensive Player of the Year?
What's more likely?
Hmm.
Wemby defensive player of the year.
Crazy. That is
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah,
I
I would
think
say.
It's going to be a very interesting. This year, there is going to be outrage for
Mm.
Defensive Player of the Year. I reckon it's going to be the most, yeah, it's going to be the most controversial Defensive Player of the Year award for, I'll probably say ever. Probably
Yeah,
ever this
because
year.
the way that is trending, listen, the way that is trending, that my pick for defensive player of the year before the start of the year was Chet, because I said that OKC would be the number one defense, which they are right now. We know it's short, small sample size, but what usually happens the last couple of years, the player who anchors the best defense has been winning defensive player of the year. This is where the controversy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm thinking you're going to say is this year's got to go away from that because if Wemby gets it, the Spurs are not going to be anywhere near the top 10 defensive teams. But he'll have these gaudy stats. And if he wins, it's going to be outrage. I agree because you have people say, yeah, Wemby, the stats, the stats, the stats. But I'll say, hold on a second.
Mm.
How your stats aren't affecting it. I know it's a team game, but still, your stats aren't affecting your team being number one. Like, Chet will be number
Yeah,
one.
yeah, and I think if it's a historical defense, that's probably where the controversy will come in. But I would agree. Like, you shouldn't always just give it to the best, like best anchor on the best defensive team. But if it's a historical defense, then yeah. But I'm all for a discussion. I love a MVP race. I love a Defensive Player of the Year race as
Mm.
well.
As long
Equally as
as
exciting to me.
as long as there are the French guys and then it's okay. But let us shift gears, man. It's somber times. Orlando Magic, they're not playing the song as much as they were playing it last season. Lots of injuries. I mean, listen, they had the big time, the big fish, Paolo Banchero, you know. I felt so bad for him. He drops 50 points and then oblique injury a game later. And then Wendell Carter Jr. goes down. And then on the other side, another young promising team who made big moves in the offseason to get DeJounte Murray. He fractures his hand. Now you got CJ McCollum is out. Now you got Herb Jones is out. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Zion Williamson is out now again. Listen, these two teams, bro, obviously different conferences, but on the same spectrum of injuries. Who do you think is going to suffer more from these injuries going forward between the Orlando Magic and the New Orleans Pelicans?
The Orlando Magic. Just 100% the Orlando Magic. I think the reason why I'm so heavily leaning towards that way, Orlando Magic know who they are. They're a defensive team with some great emerging top level talent, and they know their window is now to kind of set that winning culture and kind of start building towards what could be a conference finals contending team for a few years to come. And they bankrolled the team. They put a lot of money into securing what they are and what they are going to do going forward. One thing I will say about the Orlando Magic, how good is it to see an injury report with a new player on it from the Magic and it not be Jonathan Isaac?
He's finally got good health, but
I
they
know.
sacrificed it. They sacrificed. They
Yeah.
gave up. They gave up all. They gave all their good juju to get Jonathan Isaac healthy. And now look, the Italian dream is gone.
Yeah, yeah. RIP, my boy's knees. But yeah, like, yeah. To be fair, the Pelicans, it just makes the muddy waters even more muddy. They don't know what they are, and with
Yeah.
these injuries, they get further away from any kind of clarity. Um, it's kind of ironic because they're a team that started the year, they're like, oh my God, when you think about it, this roster has so many guys. They
Yeah.
have so many guys. They just don't have a center. They've got so many guys, but now they've got no center and not a lot of guys. Although Messi
Oh.
could be could be an all rookie first team kind of guy in a year of stacked NBA rookies. So yeah, that's still a team that you can watch, but I feel bad for the Magic because it's gonna be they're gonna be in a hard spot once Paolo comes back.
I'm on a different wavelength to you. I actually think the Pelicans will suffer more. If we're comparing who's going to suffer more between the Pelicans and the Magic with injuries, for sure, I think it's the Pelicans will suffer more because at least the Magic have an identity that they can fall back onto with Paolo being out. Like they've got the defense that they can fall back on because even in these other games, offense will be a struggle, but at least you can stay in games with your defense. They have an identity. The Pelicans have no identity. They don't even know who they are. They didn't have, as you say, they did not have a center. Shut up, Messi, Messi, Messi. It was Messi, he's doing his thing, but still,
And got a missing, got a missing, got a missing.
he ain't got a Messi, got a Messi.
Carry on.
Oh, I
Carry
love
the hell
that
on.
meme. I love that meme.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The football fans are gonna love that one. The football fans are gonna love that, man. But that's the
The
thing, like,
commentators, yeah,
no identity. You don't have an identity, bro. And now you've got Herb Jones, CJ, DeJounte, all injured. And we know that, I didn't want to say the word, the little person lover, Brandon Ingram. We know he doesn't have a good bill of health. He doesn't have a good resume when it comes to injuries. Zion missing games again. As I said before the season, he's gonna miss games. We know he's gonna miss games. And now all of a sudden, everyone's gone. And in the East, you can afford to lose games. How do we know that? There is only two teams in the East right now that have a winning record. In the West, there is nine. There is nine teams in the West that have a winning record and two in the East. So the Magic don't
there's
even have to worry, bro. They are fine. They could lose all the games they want. They won't lose any ground on the play-in or the playoffs. They're fine. The Pelicans, though, you lose 2, 3, 4, 5 games, brother. You go from being the seventh seed to all of a sudden being the 12th seed, and with all those other teams winning and playing as well as they are, you are gone. And I just think it's going to get a lot worse for the Pelicans. Obviously, I know DeJounte's on his way, but still, you can't lose. You can't afford to lose ground compared to the East.
Yeah, okay, that is a good call. And no matter where the Magic are in the playoff race, they're going to be a hard out as long as they're not the eighth seed. Like I could see them beating even if Cleveland gets 60 wins, I could see them losing to the Magic in a playoff series.
Mm,
Um,
100%.
I think I would still favor the Cavs, but I'm just saying there's not a world where I don't give the Magic a fighting chance if they're healthy in the playoffs.
Yeah. Plus, we want to play that music. Whoa, Orlando Magic. I love that song, bro. I feel like that's the best theme song. I feel. I don't think there's any. I mean, the Heat is on for the Heat is pretty good. What the Lakers have something, but I don't think anyone tops the Magic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and the Knicks is just the joy of listening to Walt Frazier's voice.
The worst thing I
Uh,
hate though in the NBA is I mean, listen, I've made it no secret. I don't like the Kings, so I hate the beam.
oh,
I hate the beam. I feel
oh
like that
no,
thing is so cringe.
oh no, the beam's amazing. But I thought you were gonna say the one thing I hate is the Rockets commentators because like if you're watching the Rockets commentators and their commentary's on, you almost have to mute it.
Who
It has
I listen. The Pelicans color commentator, that guy, I genuinely hate his voice with an actual passion. I hate his voice. What's that guy's name, bro? Brother, I'm done. I go on League Pass. If I'm watching a Pelicans game, I switch straight away. I can't handle his voice, bro, because he's always got an excuse. What? Why is he challenging that? He'll go with that. He'll go with that challenge. What's he talking about? They
oh
win the
yeah.
challenge.
It's Antonio Daniels.
I
Um
that's the actual I can't, bro. I genuinely can't watch Pelicans games
uh,
like
okay,
on their one.
just to make you feel worse about your call, I searched out Pelicans color commentator on Google, and the first thing that popped up was a Reddit like a Reddit feed that said Pelicans play-by-play color commentator are awesome. So fuck you, P.
Now moving on to a team in the West, another team in the West, the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, buddy. In the word of is it Ronnie Coleman? Yeah, buddy. Buddy Hield, bro. The Warriors are on. I mean, they've started this season out in a way that no one predicted. Definitely not me. I don't think any of us predicted it. No way would anyone have said the Warriors would be 6-1 to start the season. Yeah, buddy. Man. Are you buying into the Warriors hype, man? Or is it just that? Is it just hype? What's your thoughts?
Oh, this one here I'm torn between because I was real low on the Warriors coming into the season. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Give up, give up, give up. But it almost seems like Buddy is operating at a level that Clay hasn't operated at for years and years and years. So I'm buying into that. But I will say, Pominski, and I know I didn't say that right, so you could all get screwed. Pominski and Tracy Jackson Davis. Did I say that right? Um,
Zimski and Trace Jackson Davis. Yeah, yeah.
Nailed it. So, like as you can see, I'm real tuned into this tab. They've been rather disappointing to start the year. So it's almost like they're doing it in spite of the growth that we were expecting in some of these players. And Kaminga, I'm still not fully on board. I don't think this is going to last. Their like points differential is crazy at like 17.3 or something. I'm not buying into it, but I do think they will be a playoff team in the West. And when I say playoff team, I don't mean a play-in team. I mean a playoff team. They'll be a top six team. It's great to see the Splash Brothers are back. RIP Klay Thompson. And I am buying long term what Buddy Hield is able to do. He's such a sniper, and he's going to keep doing what he's going to do. And you hear him talk about it. He hasn't been in an offense this fluid and this amazing since he was at Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, the university I'm talking about, not the Thunder guys who get triggered every time I mention them.
In the words of the second greatest female rapper of all time, I don't need no frauds. Frauds is the key word. Frauds is the key word in no frauds. Nicki Minaj said it.
Oh, I thought that
No
was Jim
frauds.
Whitmore.
Or is it
Little bit of
Ice
Lady
Spice?
Hawk.
Or is it Ice Spice?
Little bit of Lady Hawk up in here.
That's how for shout out for the New Zealanders there, man.
Yeah,
Golly. Bro,
yeah.
frauds. Frauds. Golden State Warriors are frauds, bro. I've been waiting to... Bro, they need to be exposed. They need to be exposed. I'm not buying this hype, bro. You guys are beating nobodies. Flat track bullies. Out of their wins, bro, how is it? 4 wins against teams with a losing record. And one of those teams, you beat them twice. It doesn't count. You beat the Pelicans twice. Losing record. You beat the Blazers. They suck. You beat the Jazz. They are the worst team in the NBA. And you beat the Clippers. The Clippers are good. Still, though, losing record. Below 500. I don't buy the hype. No.
Okay. Let's so how much you're not buying the hype? Are you like as soon as they play a good team, they're gonna crumble? Or are you like okay, this is gonna be a little they'll have a little bit of a hot run for a while? Because 3 of the next 4 games are against some pretty good teams.
They've got the Celtics, they've got the Cavs, they've got the Thunder, they've got the Mavericks, and they got the Grizzlies. They are about to get fucked up. They are about to get fucked up. This is where you get exposed. And I'm happy about it because, listen, you're playing the Jazz. The Jazz, do you know? So let me tell you something here. The Warriors right now are 4th or something crazy in defensive rating, right? They look so good defensively. Why do you think that is? They played the Blazers. Do you know what the Blazers' offensive rating is? 25th. They played the Jazz. Jazz offensive rating, last in the NBA. The Pelicans, 26th in the NBA. The Clippers, 22nd in the NBA. They have not beat any team. Even the Rockets, who are the only team with a winning record that they've beat, are bottom half of the league in offensive rating. That's why they look so good defensively. Everyone's like saying, man, the Warriors look crazy on defense. They look like they're prime defense again. Because you're playing nobodies. You're playing nobodies. When they play the Celtics, today, when you guys are listening today, the Celtics are going to beat the shit out of them.
Okay, so they're playing, what is it? Probably 4 of the top, is it the 4? I think it's the 4 of the top NBA teams in their next 4 games. I reckon 2-2. 2-2 is a good record. I'll continue to buy into a little bit if they go 2-2. If they go 3-1, well, I might buy a little bit of stock in them. If they go 1-3 or 0-4, you know, it's a little bit over. What are you calling for them over this 4-game stretch?
I'm going to include the Grizzlies and make it a 5-game stretch because I think the Grizzlies are a good team too. So over this 5-game stretch, I wrote it down in bold black coloring. 1-4. They'll win 1 game because I'm pretty sure one of these teams will be coming off. Sorry, it is the Mavericks that they play. Oh, we know they're not beating the Mavericks. They're not beating the Mavericks. No, they're not beating the Mavericks. No chance. So they got Celtics, Cavs, Thunder, Mavericks, and Grizzlies. 1-4. And they'll win a game in there. But I'll tell you who they're not beating. They won't beat the Celtics. They definitely won't beat the Thunder. They can maybe sneak the Cavs and maybe sneak the Grizzlies, but they are going to go 1-4 for sure. We can book it here.
I will point out, I'm pretty sure the first three of those games are on the road for them as well.
Oh, 0-3, which means that they have to win. They have to win one out of the Mavericks and Grizzlies. The game that I would favor them, well, not favor, the game that I give them the best opportunity to win in that five is the Grizzlies. Purely because I think the Grizzlies, sometimes when they play the Warriors, all of a sudden they either beat them by 40 or they lose same thing. So that's the only game I can give them. But the other four games, Celtics, they are going to get whitewashed. Cavs, they are going to get demonized. Thunder, uh, Thunder. We saw remember what Shea said on the Instagram post last season about Steph Curry?
Mm,
Yeah, it's going to be a repeat. Then they go to
scary
Dallas
ass.
against Luka and Kyrie. Come on. And then you got the Grizzlies. So give me 1-4.
Yeah. I wonder what the point start is for that game. I wonder who's the favorite and what the money line, well, what the lines are saying. Because yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're heavy underdogs tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow I'd say like -8.5. And then against the Cavs, I'd say -6.5. Thunder, I'd say -8.5 again. Mavericks, I'd say -6.5 for the Mavs. And then Grizzlies, I'd say that's probably going to be a pick 'em.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
that's a good call. Boston Golden State, it is a 7-point line.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not that close. I was 1.5 off, but okay, I'll take it. I don't mind
Mm,
it. Yeah, but I mean, listen, I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the minus on that. I think the Celtics beat the brakes off them because I just don't. I think these guys are flat track bullies. I mean, listen, Steph Curry, they're a great team. They've had a great run, but I'm saying like I'm not trying to disrespect them and their history. I'm just basing off this season and the teams that they've beat. I feel have got people elevating them to a level that I don't think they're anywhere near that. Like for example, the rankings are so misleading. To have the Warriors, I mean, number 4 defensive rating. They're not that good of a defensive team. Offensively, they will get exposed by these other teams who are going to listen. That's the thing. We get to watch the games play out. So everything I say here, I'm more than happy. I won't take it personal, bro. If I get it wrong, come at me in the comments, man. For sure. No worries at all. No love lost.
mm, yeah, yeah. So where do you see them finishing up the year, though?
Out of the play-in.
Okay, out of the play-in.
Out of the
Crazy,
play-in. I
crazy.
don't think they're touching the play-in. I don't know. Maybe it's because listen. I just don't think that they're good of a team. I think they got a lot of people believing in false hope right now because of the lack of talent that they've played. Some are saying
All,
11th seed.
all I will say is they've played. Well, they've got good numbers, good performances so far, without having big performances from any of the guys that were supposed to either be the best players on the team or step up the most. So that is one promising sign, despite the competition that I play.
Hmm. No, that's fair. That's 100% fair. That's 100% fair, man. But yeah, I mean, listen, looking at some brighter stuff that was happening in the NBA as well. Finally, Vince Carter. Finally, listen. If you guys listened to a trivia we did a couple of weeks ago, who were the only two teams to not have retired in the NBA jersey? One was the Los Angeles Clippers, and the other was the Toronto Raptors. However, now it is only the Clippers. The Raptors put a jersey up. Shout out Vince Carter, number 15 goes up into the rafters, man. How unreal! Vince Carter, the emotions were pouring out of him as well. Jeez, man.
Yeah, it's epic. It's one of those ones where it just makes so much sense. He's going to be like, I think when you look back on the history of the Raptors, everyone's going to have like a warm, nostalgic feeling about the time Vince Carter played for them, about what he was able to do for the city. And like, it's almost like you think of that vintage Toronto Raptors jersey and you think Vince Carter straight in the back of your mind. He is like synonymous with what that organization was able to do in those early years, as they busted into the NBA. They probably didn't have the best results, like win wise, but like Vince Carter, what a man, half man, half amazing.
Half man, half amazing. It's amazing. Vince Carter is amazing, bro. I was happy for him. I mean, listen, he gave us a generational meme as well with the video. Come on, come on. That's a generational meme. You
Also the
know,
shrug. Well, I know. Did he? Oh, that it's over. It's over shrug. The
yeah.
shrug.
I was
Yeah.
hoping he would do something like that, give us one of them. But listen, yeah, Vince Carter deserved it. I mean, first of all, what took so long? I know there was the beef, because he forced his way out of Toronto to go to the New Jersey Nets at the time. But listen, this is a guy who probably to a lesser degree, Tracy McGrady, more so VC Vince Carter. He definitely transformed the franchise. Brought them to a place where they were actually renowned. People knew them, and that was because of Vince Carter. He was insane on that team. The only thing for me that annoyed me was what took so long. It should have been a long time ago. But listen, the sentiment remains the same. They got the jersey up there in the end. Happy for VC. Which now also sort of begs the question though, who is the next player to get their jersey retired for the Toronto Raptors? In your opinion, there's a couple of contenders in there. I
Well,
think they're quite clear who the contenders are, but who do you think would be next?
you know what's crazy? DeMar DeRozan, there's almost this shit going on in the background right now with him and Drake, where it's so weird. Like he just felt like the natural pick, and now things are getting a little bit tense, a little bit dicey. With the comments like his like jersey goes up in the rafters, so he's gonna go and rip it down. Also, Drake not gonna make the decisions for the team, but he is an employed member of the Toronto
I
Raptors
think
staff
yeah, he's
as
an
the
ambassador. Yeah,
global
he's an ambassador.
the
Yeah.
yeah, which is like they're not gonna take Drake's word, but that like influences the city and influences the vibe. It influences the way the Raptors perceive DeMar DeRozan. The one player, which love it or hate it, it has to be Kawhi Leonard.
Oh,
It has to
next.
be. Yeah. Oh, not Nick. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle, yeah. If, it's there's three players that are in there. But I don't know. Yeah, the Kawhi Leonard one's very interesting. Like I can see both sides of the story, but like you have to. You have to,
Yeah,
I
you
think.
have to, without a doubt. With no Kawhi, you don't win a championship. And listen, let's be honest with ourselves. I don't know if they'll win a championship for a long time. So he's going to be in the history books of the Raptors as the only player in franchise history to have a Finals MVP. And he
Yeah.
was the player who was the key to you. You had DeMar DeRozan, you had this team for such a long time, and you got him. He was the one who pushed you over the hump. Listen, you can only play who's put in front of you. Golden State Warriors were hurt. You can't control that. You can only control what's put in front of you. They beat the Golden State Warriors, who was there. They won the championship. He was the Finals MVP, and I think, given what he did on that run to winning the chip, his jersey. I don't care that it was one season. Kawhi Leonard's jersey has to go up in the rafters in Toronto. Not next, but at some point in time, it has to go up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that Pascal Siakam didn't like play his career out there.
Mm.
Because I feel like he's a guy when you think Raptors, you get warm feelings when you like go Pascal Siakam and the Raptors.
Mm.
Yeah. What do you think about Kyle and DeMar?
I think Carl will go first purely because I think Carl Lowry. I I mean, I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think this is Carl Lowry's last season in the NBA. So I think he's going to retire before DeMar, and that's why I think Carl Lowry goes up next. I think Carl Lowry has to go up. And then after that, whenever DeMar retires, he goes up. And yeah, I think for sure there's three in line: Carl Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and Kawhi Leonard. I think those are very obvious, without a doubt, are going to go up. The hot
I
take
think,
is whether or not yet a guy like Siakam can go up.
yeah, Siakam won't go. I think at some point in these early stages of your franchise, you have to decide what kind of franchise are you going to be? Are you going to be a franchise that rewards tenure, like like what you did for the city, all these other kind of things, or are you
Mm,
going to be a franchise that is like we want people to look up there and be like all out inspired by the names that hang from the rafters.
yeah.
Like you go into not Staples, crypto.com arena
Mm,
and you look up and you see the names that are up there,
mm,
it just wouldn't feel right having someone like Rick Fox up there,
mm.
or like a yeah like a Nick Collinson or like
Yeah, that's what I
those
was gonna
kind of or
say.
like a or Udonis Haslem. Like you have to decide what kind of franchise you want to be, and
Mm,
if the Raptors want to be a franchise that are going to reward those kind of guys who didn't actually achieve the highest of heights, then I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's their decision to make.
yeah. But I'd say, listen, I think Kawhi. Look, there's very few times that there's exceptions to the normal standards, and I know sometimes people say, oh, you have to win multiple rings, or you have to be there for a long time and be in a seven of the city, yada, yada, yada. There is some rare exceptions where someone does something extraordinary, which is you get traded from a team. Everyone is saying, nah, this guy, he's injured, he's injury prone, he's not going to be able to do this, do that. And he comes in his first year, and I don't know if it was just the thing, but he was averaging 35 points, for example, in the Bucks series. He went, I think it was 30 plus for the entire playoffs, averaged like 8+ rebounds as well. He was the guy on that championship winning team. Even
Mm.
though it is one season, he has to go up there. And then same thing though, DeMar DeRozan, I know he didn't win anything there, but I think purely because of the tenure that he had there, given that he grew up there, he took you to a conference finals, I believe, as well. He was there, made all NBA teams there, was an all-star there. Same thing, seven of the city, he deserves to go up. And then obviously Kyle Lowry did basically almost the same as DeMar DeRozan, didn't average as many points, but he had all-star appearances. I believe he made all NBA. But the key sort of differentiator that makes him the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time, in my opinion, is that he won a championship while he was still there as well, compared to DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah. One thing, a little bit of a sidetrack here. Like, it makes me think of like situations out there where it's like you think about a team and you think about this player, but does that mean the jersey should be retired? The New York Knicks and Carmelo Anthony. To me, I don't think he should get his jersey retired.
Oh man, that's putting me in a dilemma. That's putting me in a dilemma.
Um, yeah, like,
How about for
but
Denver?
then that's no, no, man. I, you know, I don't know.
You can't retire 15
It's
twice as well. That's the problem. Because Jokic, you have to
uh,
15 Jokic has to
oh,
go up. You
oh,
can't put Melo
oh,
15
the
up there.
the Nuggets have got the perfect situation, but we oh shit, sorry, oh we can't, oh no, oh shit, sorry, but like the next one, it's like Camelo's gonna be like, yeah, come on guys, I reckon they
Man,
might,
oh my
yeah.
God. Carmelo
Also,
Anthony.
James Dolan's an absolute fucker. If he doesn't want it, he's not going to.
So you think Carmelo's jersey doesn't get retired in New York?
Oh, if it was me making the decision, I wouldn't retire it. That's what I'm saying. I think he had a sensational career, but you look at like I almost think Jalen Brunson has surpassed Carmelo Anthony as a Nick.
That's fair, man. That is absolutely fair. I am going to say, listen, if we are basing it off what you did, I don't think I can put Carmelo Anthony's jersey up in the rafters in New York either. So let's put it out to the people. If does Carmelo Anthony deserve to have his jersey retired by the New York Knicks? Has he done enough?
Mm. Before we go to all the haters out there, I will say I think Carmelo Anthony, Knicks pop into my mind like instantly. So there's like it's almost the romanticized side of things. That's what would get it across the line. But for flat out performance, give me BBL Brunson, and and the Villanova Knicks over anything that was over anything that happened on the court during during the Knicks era with Carmelo Anthony, aside from Linsanity, because I'm a sucker for that man.
Yeah. We love to hear it, man. And also, listen, quick shout out to Greg Popovich. I think everyone saw the news about Pop, so shout out to Pop, man. Speedy recovery, that's a legend of the game, probably the GOAT coach. So shout out to Pop. But yeah, I mean, shout out to us, man. Great episode. Another episode in the books, episode 58 of the Dunk Dynasty podcast, man. I mean, we're rolling it. We're getting closer. We're about to reach our 1 year anniversary. So everyone make sure you stay tuned. A lot of big things planned before then and for that to celebrate, that great accomplishment when it does arrive. But in the meantime, if you are listening, wherever you are listening, leave us a rating or review and make sure you share the podcast with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Grow the Dunk Dynasty podcast army. Goal is to get to 1,000 followers on TikTok. We got to 500, so we know we can get to 1,000. Get to 1,000 on Instagram, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We know you guys are going to help us get there, and we love producing the content, and we hope you guys are enjoying the content. With that being said, from Jed Mitchell and myself, catch you guys on the next one. Guys, the podcast over and out.